Well, friends, how you doing? Day 891. What a beautiful, beautiful evening. It's about, what is it, 7:15 on Thursday. I'm just having a quick walk around front of my house. Doing a little grounding. What is grounding? Earthing? It's just walking bare feet and connecting to my... And so I just want to come in and just share with you some thoughts on a reel that I saw today. It was on the topic of addiction. And so this guy who was he did a TED talk, and he talked about how there was an experiment back in the early 20th century, so early 1900s, and they put rats in a cage with just two water bottles, one with nothing in it, and normal water, and the other one laced with drugs like heroin or meth. And what they found out was that the rats, essentially, they only drank the drugged water, and so essentially they all overdosed and they died. But then in the 1970s, a professor from Vancouver, actually, I forget what his name is, something Bruce. Anyways, he noticed that the rats were actually put into an empty cage, and so he says, I want to change that up a little bit. And so what he did was he's kind of put together what he called a rat heaven. And so he put some rats in there, lots of cheese, tunnels, other rats. So, they were able to have some fun, socialize, have sex all they want. And of course, they still had the two water bottles, one just normal and one still laced with drugs. And so what they found was that in rat heaven, the rats basically all went for the water with no drugs. And so that's an interesting finding, because if you think about it, like how does he go from 100% overdose to 0% overdose when you change the environment? And so that leads to, again, just asking the question, okay, so what is addiction really? And so is addiction about the chemical hooks? Is it about the environment or the adaptation to the environment? Is it the cage that we are in, right? The cage is your environment. And so if we understand this, so the question is, how do we help people who are addicted? Currently, what do? We typically punish people who have addictions. We shame them. We put them in jail, or we put them... we isolate them. And with the experiment, though, it says that when we are living a happy, connected life, that we don't go for the drugs. And so, our current system or method of dealing with addicts, in my opinion, is not working. It's not effective, because what they really need is actually for us to care. And I was reading some of the comments, and some people were talking about when they were asked why they got addicted or they did what they did. They said they were just trying to escape reality. So essentially, they did not want to live in the current world that they were living in. And basically, they felt isolated. They felt alone. And so what they really needed and looking for is connection. And so I don't know if you've ever been addicted or know of somebody who is. And if you just watching this talk and just seeing these experiments, what they really need is for us to actually love them and accept them and show that we actually care and that we actually want to connect. That's what they actually did. And so actually another thing I saw was that in Portugal, they actually had a panel of people saying, we need to change this because the numbers are going the opposite direction. And so they changed everything. Instead of putting them into prison or put them in jail, whatever, they decriminalized all drug use. And then so the addicts, instead of going to prison, they actually they were they put all that money towards actually helping them, getting a job, getting a place to live, and be able to be not alone. And the results have been astounding, and it's definitely working. People are less addicted, and things are actually going in a really, really great direction. And so, I don't know if you know of anybody who has been or is. Hopefully, if you can understand where they come from and why they would turn to something to escape reality, and then hopefully you can be more willing to help support them by being there for them and trying to connect with them. And the crazy thing is, it makes a huge difference, because again, you just never know what people are going through, right? Mental health is becoming a huge issue nowadays. Not a huge issue, really. It's becoming more the forefront for us to understand how important it is. And for myself, during this pandemic and the isolation, oh my gosh, I definitely started to feel some isolation and some loneliness, and some things that I had not before. So this is a quote that he ended the talk with. Essentially, he said that the opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. And so when we see an addict, instead of shunning them or trying to shame them or look at them in a negative light, just try to show them some love, some compassion, and not to judge them. Let them know that we actually see them. Doesn't mean that you have to put yourself in a dangerous situation, unsafe, but it just means that you don't have to treat them in a disrespectful way. Okay? And of course, actually, you know what? That's kind of all I wanted to share. Again, we're all part of the same race, same family, the human family, my friends. Let's all try and do our best and love each other and make the world a better place. All right? I love you all. See you tomorrow.